honest with you, I didn't really think I'd be playing a deck that wasn't Prank Kids right after we got the new Prank Kid Link 1. But as soon as I saw this Virtual World deck, I instantly fell in love with how the deck plays, the RNG, and just its interactions and spot in the meta. It really reminded me a lot of Pure Thunder Dragons back when I played Thunder, when Colossus was still in the format. We have a similar Floodgate-esque monster in Shen Shen, and it's just a fun deck to play. It rewards really good players who know what they're doing and can play in certain game states. And I think that the deck is just very fun to play. Now, I have made a few card selections that are a little bit different, so this is not going to be your standard Virtual World deck. It plays a little bit more aggressively, and I can't take credit for all of the ideas. I will give credit to where credit is due when we get to certain cards, but I do want to say that I played this list card for card at locals and went 4-0, and yeah, I beat pretty much different kinds of decks, some combos, some mid-range, some back row decks like Eldlick and Dogmatica. But overall, I think this deck can play against any deck. It plays a lot of hand traps, and it has a trap that can pop, face up, whether it be Mystic Mines or, there could be only ones. It just has so much versatility. So without further ado, I do want to get into the deck profile. So here we go. It's 40 cards, and we're going to start off with our Virtual World. So to start off with the Psychic engine, I guess, we play triple of Lulu and triple of Lao Lao and only 2 of the Nayan Nayan. Now, because of the fact that we are playing a different normal summon in this deck, I wanted to play lesser of Nayan Nayan. I think Nayan is one of those cards that, it's good, I guess. It's like having 2 more gates. You need to see some sort of Virtual World card where you can proc your Lulus, your Lao Laos, your GGs, or your Kirans, your Linlins. And Nayan kind of acts as more gates. It's like more cards you can normal summon it and then proc your effects, but it's a lot more vulnerable to hand traps, and if you get Dryden popped, it's you waste your normal summon. So it's not the best way to start your plays. Sometimes it's needed, but it's also good as a level 3 to come back, as well as the fact that it actually recurs any banished card. So if you activate Desires and then Nayan gets banished, you could shuffle back a face down banish trap, or any card that you might have banished, where you would otherwise lose it for the rest of the duel. Nayan lets you to get it back, so that's really important. So now for the Worms, we play 3 GG, which I think is the second best starter, and only two Li Li. So Li Li is probably the most controversial. A lot of people play it at 3. I think every single list I've seen has played Li Li at 3, and I don't think that this card is bad. However, you want to minimize the number of hands where you're drawing Li Li and Lao Lao, because those hands require a gate to play. So you need to have access to either King Long or Shuke. So Li Li is just a little bit vulnerable to brick hands, and I don't think that you need to play 3 of all of them to play the game. I think as long as you have names and you're drawing a mixture of gates and Virtual World monsters, then you're allowed to play. So sometimes Li Li can be redundant. If you have Lulu, GG, if you have one of those 2 along with a gate, then you don't really need the send for a Li Li. You're going to have access to the spell for the most part. So you don't really need to proc its effect to play. So only 2 of this one. So that's it for the monsters. Instead of playing 15, I play 13. And then for the normal summon, shout out to NA45 on YouTube. We'll try to link his video in the description. So essentially what this Deep Sea Diva engine does is it allows you to access a name from your extra deck, Virtual World name I should say, while drawing cards. Now the really good part about it is the fact that you get to this point where you get to a Martial Metal Marcher and a token, and usually again, with Infernoble and Dragon Link, those players tend to go into Herald. Now, we're not playing Herald, but every single player will opt to Nibiru you there before you even really started playing your Virtual World cards. Now, we do have a way to prevent Nibiru by summoning this card, but it usually is not needed because our opponent will always Nibiru us preemptively after we start our Hucklefibrax engine. So Diva is essentially a 1-card starter that requires playing 0 bricks. It also gets impermanence, just like NA45 said in his video. It often gets impermanence because people think you're playing Mermails, and I actually had a game today where my opponent sided for Mermails because the only card they saw was Diva. So it was just a very funny interaction. But when your opponent thinks that you're doing one thing and they expect to see a Netabis on the field, and all of a sudden they see another Diva, they get confused, and when you go into Hucklefibrax, if they have impermanence, they will definitely use it by then. So it's very good at just baiting hand traps, and if they don't have hand traps, then you're going to be drawing cards. So again, Diva, I will show you the combo, to show you guys what it does by itself. But go on NA45's channel to kind of see more in depth of how good this card is in the deck, and it really was the best card in testing for me. So Diva was there for that, and then the hand trap lineup. My hand trap lineup is pretty similar to NA45. I play three Gamma. I don't play Nibiru in this list. I don't think that Nibiru. It's kind of weird. Like Nibiru, it's good in the format, but I feel like all the combo players play around it already, and the other matchups it's not good against. So Nibiru is only good in like a very small percentage of the matches game 1, I would say. So I think that it's just better to go more towards the generic hand traps. I think Gamma is the best, but Ghost Ogre very good against Zoo. Ash is not good against Zoo, but I think it's truly good in the mirror match. So I'll continue to play it, and remember, we're playing at locals for the most part, so it's really good for locals. So that's it for the hand traps, and for the spells, we play, the standard 3 Kowloon and the 3 King Long. I think these are just self-explanatory. And then the much needed 3 Desires. I think the Desires is so important in this deck because of the fact that you want to bait Ash as soon as possible. So now that you have 3 Desires and 3 Diva, if your opponent has Ash, they will most likely use it after one of those cards. So what I do when I test hand is I just assume my opponent has Ash and just go from there. So you have 3 Desires, 3 Diva, and 3 Gamma as well, as ways to prevent your core cards from getting Ash. So, and then if they Ash you, you also have 2 Tactics. So more draw power, and that's really all you want. And the last spell we play is the 1 ultimate rare Emergency Teleport. So not too many spells, and then only 3 traps, which of course the 3 Chuke. I'm not on Skill Drain right now. I think Skill Drain is like a little overkill. It's a little weird because if you activate it, then you're kind of shutting off your own Shen. So I just opted to stay away from it. So only 40 cards there, and to get into the extra deck, we play a little bit of a different extra deck. I don't think I've seen anyone with my exact extra deck. So we play for the 9s, we play Shen, Croco, Vermilion, Cloud Castle. These are all pretty standard. Then for the 6s, we play the Coral, Charge, and Juju. Juju comes up in the Deep Sea combo. Then for Xyz monsters, we play only 4. 1 number 75, which I'll show you why this is really good later, and 1 number 24. So number 24 is a really, really impactful card, I think. No one plays this card. I haven't seen anyone who plays it. Most people play, the Utopia Beyond. They play the Tommy M7. I don't even play the Fen. So a lot of people play Fen. This is my only rank 6, and what it allows you to do is essentially it's a book of moves for special element monsters. And why that's so good is because you're going to be ending most of your combos off with True King of all Calamities. Now, when your opponent goes to impermanence your Calamities, most people use Chuke to pop the Calamities to chain to impermanence or to droplets or to chalice. I think, or to Book of Moon. I think those are all cards that you can avoid by having the trap, but then you just waste your trap. So I wanted my rank 6 to kind of mitigate that problem. So Dragulus allows you to book your own cards face down, so you can book your own calamities and leave your trap live. So I think that's just really good. And of course, if it gets sent to graveyard, you can set it face down from the graveyard, and when it gets flipped face up, you can send one card to the graveyard. So it can be an out to Dragoon, but it's just an overall amazing effect. So it's definitely, in my opinion, the best rank 6 to play if you were to play only one. So the 2 calamities, and then for the combo, we play the Haka-Fibrax, the Link Cross, and the Marcher and Integrator. So this is a very standard combo where you're going into your Haka-Fibrax off of your Deep Sea Diva, and then you kind of see the lines of play already. You're gonna just at least draw a card and then make a level 6 Synchro before you really start playing the game. So it's really good. So of course, for those of you who want a little bit more explanation, we have the 1-card combo with Diva, and it's going to be a little, I guess, generic explanation, but we're going to start off with Diva, normal summon it, and then we're going to use its effect to just special summon the second Diva, and then we're going to link summon into our Haka-Fibrax and use Haka-Fibrax's effect to summon the third Diva. Now, if your desires and you desires away one of the Divas, then you can special summon a Gamma instead off of the Haka-Fibrax. So that's why Gamma is kind of needed in this version of the deck. So we get to this point every time, and then we link off the Haka-Fibrax for our Link Cross, and we summon our 2 tokens. So here we have 2 tokens, and we're going to Synchro summon the Diva and the token into Martial Metal Marcher, and we're going to use the Marcher, of course, to just bring right back to the Diva, and then the Diva and the token will get synchroed off into a Cyberse Integrator. So again, very straightforward. Now, there are different things you could do here, depending on what your hand is. So if you have tuners in your hand, if you have the little guys in your hand, you can just go into your Juju, and then Cyberse Integrator will allow you to draw a card. You could also go into Charge or Coral Dragon. No matter what, the synchro that you summon will be a tuner, because that's Martial Metal Marcher's effect. But it's good because you get to a name, or you can just get to draw more cards. So even if you do get Nibiru, at least you're drawing cards. You're gonna have 5 cards after you get Nibiru. So just you have more of a chance of seeing a Laulau at that point than anything. But if you don't want to do that, you have access to a Gates or Kowloon plus a Lulu already in your hand, so your hand is stacked, which happens a lot because you're drawing cards. I actually just like to overlay these into the number 75, because at that point you just guarantee that you're going to dodge Nibiru. So this doesn't destroy, which I don't like. It turns the effect into each player draws a card, which is also not that good. So your opponent's going to keep the Nibiru and draw a card. But again, if they don't Nibiru you and you're setting up calamities, I feel like it doesn't matter anyway. So it's just a very crafty way of stopping Nibiru. You can't really play Herald in this deck, because Herald would banish every single monster that you send from the deck, from Lulu or Lili or any of them. So you can't really play Herald, but the threat of making a Herald is what's important. So I decided also not to include the Zolkin package in my deck. I feel like it was a little bit too tight of space, and I really like to play the rank 6s, or at least one rank 6 with number 24. So I thought that this was the better option, but you can also look at NA45's deck profile to see his point of view on that. But anyway, guys, that's really the Virtual World deck, right? So the deck is very straightforward. It's you've seen probably a bunch of Virtual World combos by now. So this is the way I would play the deck. I think it kind of reminds me of how I'm playing the DDD engine in my Shaddolls. It allows for 1-card combos, and even if that 1-card combo gets stuck, you still have such a huge opportunity to capitalize with the rest of your engine cards. So yeah, guys, that's my rendition of Virtual World. So please subscribe to Bemani Lounge. We're also offering a coaching service. So if you're interested in getting better at the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! For a very minimal price, let us know in the comment section below, and we'll get you all set up. So this has been Henry, the team captain of Team Lionheart from Bemani Lounge, signing off. Bye, guys.